All right, so we're going to get started. Thank you everybody for joining so far. And hi, and welcome to today's webinar. We're so excited to showcase our multiple locations feature for you. My name is Hillary Roberts, and I'm a customer advocate at OWL. I'm dedicated to supporting you with general inquiries about OWL, providing interactive training when needed, and ensuring that you're getting the most out of your OWL experience. Thanks for taking the time today to attend this tutorial. We're thrilled to have launched multiple locations and excited to teach you how to use it at your practice. I'm especially excited to be hosting this session because multiple locations is an essential feature that will help our users expand their growing business and provides more seamless day-to-day usability for practices that have needed this functionality previously. Today, we're going to review multiple locations together, and we'll wrap up the session with a brief Q&A period before the end. The session will be approximately 30 minutes long, and we're recording today's session so we can send everybody a copy afterwards. You'll be muted for the duration of today's webinar, but there is a chat feature in GoToMeeting here with several customer advocates available to answer any of your questions throughout the session. You can go ahead and introduce yourself there now if you would like.
Hi, this is Nita Gear and Alma Plant from Downton Deed Counseling Center.
Oh, hi, Nita. Sorry, I meant you could introduce yourself in the chat box to one of our customer advocates over text, please. Thanks so much. Sorry about the confusion there. If you're unable to stay for the Q&A portion at the end, please feel free to email us at any time at support@owlpractice.ca with any follow-up questions you may have. Our team is always happy to help. Our agenda today will be starting off by telling you a little bit about what multiple locations is. Next, we'll explore how to navigate multiple locations in your account, how to configure multiple locations, the idea of global versus local settings in your account, what these are and where they are, scheduling and managing your clients, and online booking with multiple locations. So OWL's new multiple locations feature gives practices the ability to configure multiple office spaces under one practice name. If your practice hosts multiple office locations, for example, you have a downtown office and an uptown office, each of them can be configured within your OWL account with their own unique address and details. Clinics can use multiple locations feature to support therapists working out of different office locations, allowing them to schedule sessions for their clients at the appropriate practice location based on their schedule and availability. The corresponding financial documentation for the sessions, the invoices and receipts, will also be reflective of the location where the session was hosted. When the OWL Practice account is configured for multiple locations, your practice will be able to assign therapist availability by location and view the calendar per location, as well as the other areas of your account. We're now going to head into OWL so I can show you how all of these features work. When another location is added to your practice, you'll notice a new filter at the top of your account next to the search field. This filter allows you to select the location you wish to view in the various areas of the OWL account. You can use the location filter here in the calendar, in the Clients tab, in Messaging, using the Manage tab, as well as Settings. When you change the filter at the top of the page, the displayed page will change accordingly. The Locations filter will be used most frequently to view the various locations and booking from the calendar. The Locations filter does not appear when you're using the workflow or the dashboard because we have different filtering options made available in these areas. These filters allow for more varied displayed information and data based on the user's needs. In both the workflow and the dashboard, you can apply a combination of location filters to display varied results. I'll show you both of these now. Here in the workflow, if you work out of multiple locations, you may wish to view all of the items in your workflow per individual location. You may also wish to combine location filters to view all of the outstanding tasks applicable to you. Simply click the Filter view to see the other locations and select one to add to the filter. If you click the X next to the location, you can remove it and the associated tasks from your view. Viewing all tasks across all locations gives you the most efficient way to view the outstanding tasks required for your attention. Similarly, if you wish to report on your practice data across multiple locations, you can pick and choose locations here in the dashboard. Simply click the filter view at the top with the drop-down to view the other locations or remove them as you wish. The filtering option appears in all areas of the dashboard, here in year over year, as well as stats and data exports. From the data export section, you can use the locations filter to pull exports with data consolidated across any of the locations of your choosing. You can either pull exports per individual location for separate reporting, or you can choose the filtering and exporting option that best suits your operational needs. I'm now going to show you how to add a new location. And to do this, we're going to head to Settings and then click on the Locations tab here. We'll click the green Add button in the bottom of the page, so you'll be prompted to input the details for a new location. Each location will need a location name, email address, phone number, and complete address. Just going to enter the information for this now. You'll notice that there's a button here that says Assign All Services. This is a flag that you can use to ensure that all of your services are currently assigned to the new location as well. If you choose not to select this, you'll need to go into your Services and Fees menu and assign each service to the new location individually. Once you've input all the information, you can click Save to add the location, and you'll now see that this is added into your list. If you need to edit any of the details for your newly added location, make sure to use the drop-down at the top of the page to select it, and then use Practice Details to change the information. Here, you'll be able to edit the details for the practice and also configure the rooms for this location. From the locations page itself, you're able to deactivate the location at any time if it's no longer a part of the practice. You're also able to reactivate a deactivated location if ever needed. If you have any therapists who work out of multiple locations, you're able to configure their profiles to reflect all of the locations where they work. To update the locations where a therapist works and is available to be booked, we'll head under the Settings tab to the Therapist section. You select the therapist that you'd like to edit and then click the Edit button. If you scroll down in their profile, you'll see this new section added called Locations. Flag the checkbox next to any location where the therapist will work. You're also able to assign a default room per location if necessary for the therapist. Once you're finished, click the Update Therapist button to update their profile and have them available to schedule in your new location. The therapist's availability will also need to be assigned per location. To assign availability to a therapist, select their profile and then open the Availability section here. You will see a locations filter on the Availability Scheduler page. You can assign general and specific availability to the therapist per location. Simply change the filter, and then go ahead and add the availability for when they're going to be working. Once you're finished, you'll need to save this to ensure that the therapist has the accurate and up-to-date availability for their new working location. We're now going to talk a bit about global versus local settings. So it's important to keep in mind that with this change with multiple locations, many of the settings and configurations in OWL will now become location-based. There are some settings that are considered global, which are practice-wide, and some that are considered local, which are location-specific. In terms of global settings, the instance, user access, and login information that you and your therapist are using to access the account is a global setting. Clients are also globally added to the account, so no matter where they're usually booking their services, they can be scheduled at each location. Therapists and therapist grades are also a global setting. And finally, services and fees can be added globally with the option to select which location they are offered at. A full list of the global settings are available in our FAQs. Please feel free to refer to them at any time if you need more information. As for the local settings, I'll showcase these as I tell you about them. Here in the calendar, you can see that there's views specific to each location. In the workflow and dashboard, which we already explored, you can view workflow and items and the data from your account across all locations or view specifically for some locations. Under Settings, the rooms will need to be configured for each practice, as each one has different rooms. And finally, for your appointment confirmations and reminders here, you have the option to craft default confirmation and reminder messages across all locations, or using the drop-down, you can create these specific for each location now. When your practice has multiple locations, it's important to be mindful of which location filter is applied when viewing the calendar. Users need to make sure that when they book client sessions, the filter is applied for the correct location. A note for our users who use a group account, the calendar will only show therapists in the sidebar here who are assigned to that location which you've selected at the top of the screen. Keep in mind, if you don't see a therapist that you need to book the session with, you'll need to change the location filter at the top of the screen to see them. Please also keep in mind that any clients added to the account are added globally, meaning that their records are accessible from any location you're viewing, regardless of where they book their sessions. You can use the search bar at the top here to look for any clients in the practice, regardless of which location is chosen at the top of the screen. The final piece that we wanted to show you is online booking and the changes that will be made there. If your clinic chooses to use the client portal for online booking, there are therapists working at multiple locations. Clients will be prompted to select the location for their booking before choosing their service type. I'm going to head to the online portal to show you this now. A locations filter is listed above the service menu here, and when the client has not yet selected a service, it's also available above the services listed here. A user can change the location they're booking by using this filter. Thanks again for attending today's webinar, everyone. I hope that this session was helpful and informative. Please refer to our FAQ pages on multiple locations to familiarize yourself further with the information that we covered today. If you have any questions or feedback, please email us at support@owlpractice.ca. I also wanted to let you know about a current promotion that we're running. If you refer someone to OWL who signs up for a paid plan before April 25th, we'll give you $20 off your next month's subscription with OWL. Please just mention the promo yourself, or have the person who's signing up mention your name. And now, for anybody who's interested, we're going to have the Q&A section of the webinar. So please feel free to stay on the line and ask your questions in the chat as needed. So one of our clients asked if there's a limit to how many locations you can have. There's not a limit. You can have as many as you would like. You simply set them up under the Locations tab. Emma asked if I message a specific team member, will alert them on both locations. So yes, the messaging, you will be able to click into messaging and change the dropdown to see the messages from from either location, but this section of the notification up here is a global setting. So you will see that no matter where you're clicked into the app. Pat, we're so happy to hear that you're pleased about the promotion. Thanks so much for letting us know. So somebody else has asked if you have a location or a client at one location, can you go ahead and schedule recurring appointments at both locations? And the answer to that is no. You will have to schedule them each by using the drop down at the top. There is no location option when you're creating a session, so if you would like to create this, you can go ahead and create recurrences. For example, if this one was going to be 1 week at your Midtown location and 1 week at your downtown, you could set bi-weekly recurrences, excuse me, for these sessions. So they happen bi-weekly at one location and bi-weekly at the other. If anyone else has any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat box below. We'll definitely leave the call open for a few more minutes to see if any others come in. So somebody else has asked a further question about reminders. I'm just going to head to the settings section under reminders to show this in a bit more detail. So they asked if the clinic name will show custom for each reminder. When using the macros, the clinic name information will fill in. So for example, this appointment reminder would say it was from Blooming Therapy Midtown, whereas if they got a reminder from another clinic using the same or another location using the same macro, this one would only say Blooming Therapy. So they will be unique using those macros per location as to where the location of the appointment is, but you are able to add other location specific information here. For example, if there was certain information you needed your clients to know about parking, a door code, or the availability of the space that you were hosting the therapy in, you could include that per location as well. So somebody else has asked a question about invoices and receipts and how these will look. For each client, the invoice and receipt will show for the place where they had the session. So just to head to the calendar to show you how this looks. Claire Mitchell had this session at Blooming Therapy. So when we open it to go ahead and look at the invoice, you'll notice that the information here is for the Park Road location. However, if I switch to the Midtown location and invoice this client for their session. You can easily see how their invoice shows the different practice information on Yonge Street. So when you're scheduling at the different locations, the invoices, receipts, and other financial documents will reflect this. All right, well, just stay on the line for one more minute. If anyone has any last minute questions, please type them into the chat box now, and then we'll finish up with the webinar. So someone's just asked us a question about the data export section. So I'm just going to head to the dashboard under data exports to explore this now. So the question they'd ask is, how do you know which location the data exports are for when combined in all locations? And the answer to that is that the location ID will be displayed on your exports. I can pull an export just to show how this looks. So here you can see there is a separate location or a column now on your data exports showing the location. All right, I don't believe anybody else has any questions, so I wanted to thank you all again for attending the webinar today. If you do have any last minute questions that come up while you're using our new multiple locations feature, like we said, please email us at support@Owl Practice with any questions that you have. A recorded version of this demo will be available on our YouTube page, and we'll send you an email with a follow-up as well. Thank you so much for attending, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.